somewhere there's Muffin. Good morning, by the way. Look at this beautiful day in my little park, 45 seconds away from my home. At my place it's too noisy. There are people doing lots of stuff. You will hear a chainsaw from now to then. At my place there's a party going on already. It's 9 a.m. or a little bit later, and Muffin is there somewhere counting the mice. Anyway, so what do we have here? Yes, we have here my coffee and the DSL. The DSL is the Dutch version or the Flemish version of the TSL, which is the Time Literary Supplement, and the DSL is the Flemish. Now, why do I keep up with this format? Well, a lot of people find books that I would never recommend on my own because, you can only read so much, and a literary supplement is there to help you broaden your vision, your mind, and your choices. So, what does it say today? Well, David Foster Wallace about day in, day out and how difficult that can be. Looking forward to that. And then this is a little mini story. Two young fish are quietly swimming when they cross an older fish who swims the other way. The older fish asks them with a nod, "Good morning, lads. Nice water, huh?" The two young fish swim along, and then after a while, one looks at the other and says, "What in God's name is water?" Anyway, I quite like it. It's so absurd, but I like it. I like absurd. So anyway, what do we have here? Sorry. So, here we have a little portrait that Pilar de Keuleneer has made, and it's called Figuurlijk. It looks like something we know all too well when we are on a holiday. Reading, sleeping, reading. Heaven. Anyway, so what does this say? Wanted. Imagination. And this means male, female, non-binary. It's something we have to print when we are when you are looking for employees. So yeah. So there's a Belgian author, Saskia de Koster. She's female, and she said that imagination, according to her, is still claimed by male geniuses, as if they came out of nowhere. And Christine Hemmerichs, another female author, doesn't agree, and she recognized the underlying frustration, though. Anyway, it talks about autofiction and how autofiction is often viewed as anecdotal, and that means that you aren't creative enough as an artist. But she says there's a lot of different types of autofiction that really is creative and beautiful, and not only for women or men or whatever, like La Superba by Ilya Leonard Pfeiffer. I really love that book. About his times in Genoa and how he looks at the people who live there and visit the city. Wuthering Heights is also a form of autofiction, and but used in a creative way. That's what she is saying, but not really. There's a lot of wind today. Well, all week already. Sorry. There's a lot of wind. So, and now we have here, coming back to the previous piece, I didn't think it was very well written because she wanted to react on something and started talking about another thing, so it lacked focus. Anyway, a secret here is Jaap Robben. Jaap Robben is a Dutch author, and he was nominated for the Booker International in 2021 for the novel. Let me look it up. Sorry. Wait. Yeah. Summer Brother. This one. Summer Brother. Anyway. And he says, a secret is like a little piece of glass in your shoes. You move around it, but on one day you will walk crooked. And then it says, imagine. You give birth to a child, but the child dies unbaptized. Until deep in the last century, you weren't allowed to bury your child in sacred ground. It was a disgrace that a lot of people hid for a very long time. It is an unknown piece of history, and it's the story of Schemerleven by the Dutch author Jaap Robben. And that's true if you go to old burial grounds here in Belgium, for instance, or in the Netherlands. You have a little corner hidden in the graveyard where there are little crosses with numbers on it, and those were the unbaptized children. Now they don't do that anymore. You can have your child baptized even when it was stillborn, because it's inhumane, and you can also, it was illegal at the time to give your child a name when it was stillborn, and that is all gone now because it's such a trauma for the people. Anyway, this is Jaap Robben, and he wrote a book about it. This is his third novel. His debut was with young adults, I believe, or youth. So, and this is a flower you all know. I just don't know the English name for it, and I won't be looking up. You know what it is. You can eat it as a salad. You can eat the flower and the young leaves. And it's called, this is a book about the Flora Batava, the historical biodiversity of the Netherlands, and it's packed with information and beauty. So yeah. How much? How much? 79 euros, and after the 31st of August, 99 euros? Seriously? Seriously? Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on, guys, come on. They are going mad. The prices are going mad in Belgium and the Netherlands. And then they are surprised that the Dutch and Flemish publishing houses are struggling. Yeah, well, hello. Like here too. I mean, $39.50, and the ebook is $19.99. The Story of Antwerp. It's all This is about all the stories and anecdotes of about Antwerp. I would never, never, never pay that much money for a book that is just about a city. Never. Sorry. And this one is by Lisa Fitco. And you join them on the last voyage of Walter Benjamin. Walter Benjamin, this is the young man. Well, not so young. He was a German Jewish philosopher. And he was on the run for the Nazis, of course. And Lisa Fitco left Germany before 1933. And she lived in Vichy, or the area of Vichy, which was more or less free, or collaborating with the Germans. And she helped him, or she tried to help him cross the Pyrenees. And Fitco noticed that the philosopher carries a black bag, and he doesn't lose sight of it, because in there's a manuscript that he finds more valuable than his own life. And this story sounded so familiar, and then I think I've seen a TV series on Netflix about this. So yeah, check Netflix if you don't want to pay. How much is it, this one? 300 pages, $26.99. Ebook, $14.99. Seriously. So, Auke Hulst is one of the Dutch new authors. He wrote a book, the Michio Trolls Baby Company. I will quickly talk about that book. So it was nominated for the best fiction for 2022. And it's about a man who buys a child robot to replace the loss of his daughter. And it all begins well, but the child robot doesn't get older, and that starts to annoy him. So anyway, this is a study about David Foster Wallace, and the title says, "Who dares to show the weak spots in their own panzer?" Who dares to show the weak spots in their own protective shield? Yeah, maybe that's it. Who wants to take a step towards somebody else? Who wants to really meet other people? So yeah, in a couple of weeks, a new generation of young people graduate, and hopefully they get a speech as a thank you gift. One like the legendary This Is Water by David Foster Wallace. Auke Hulst read the text, and it seems more real than ever. More urgent than ever, maybe. Voila. And then Muffin is still there. Yes, she's such a good girl. And then the uncomfortable feeling of happiness of a war journalist. And this is Hans-Jaap Nelissen, and again another Dutch-speaking book. Not very good, apparently. This is a trigger of many reporters to be at the first row during the great and dramatizing moments in history and the privilege of being there. Okay, this is an international book, thank God. The Growing and Loving in Post-War Yugoslavia by Drago Jansar. I will look it up what the English title is. I hope it is translated. So Drago Jansar writes against the post-war Slovenian period about growing up of a boy or a it must be a Bildungsroman. Daniel's head is a version of the distorted outer world. And this is Drago Jansar. I will look it up for you guys. And then this is about the biography of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was no saint. Of course he wasn't. If you are in politics, you're never a saint. No matter how good your intentions are, you have to do ugly things. The author, Jonathan Ake, also shows the sharp edges of King. He smoked, he drank, he plagiarized, he cheated on his wife. Yeah, he was a human. And then Joke van Leeuwen. She's a Dutch author. Sorry. About terror, devotion, and nipples. Not a very good book. It seems only 3 stars. We haven't come across a 5-star yet in our series. So on top of the our selection, so this is the top 5 of the indie booksellers. This has nothing to do with sales numbers or whatever. It's just what I really like. Heatwave by Victor Gestin. I just read it and I will talk about it tomorrow in my coffee clutch. And then we have Honoré Fanon Jeffers, The Love Songs of W.E. Du Bois. Mieko Kawakami, Heaven. Saskia de Koster, Net Echt, not translated. Barrow Bainbridge, A Quiet Life. I've read that too. And then the non-fiction is Otta Pavel, How I Met the Fish. Frits van Oostrom, The Fox Reinhard. Pieter Waterdrinker, he of Home and Fireplace. And Margot Jefferson. I don't know what the right translation is, but the building of a nerve system or something like that. And then we have Paul Auster and Bloodbath Nation. So it's not a novel, Bloodbath Nation. It is non-fiction. I have it already, so I will talk about it tomorrow. And then this is the last page is always a book that changed somebody or changed the way they think. And this one is Jean Mulders, and his book that changed his life is 1984 by George Orwell. And he says here, for 1984, George Orwell ruined his health and that urgency, that sense of urgency you can feel it. Jean-Paul Mulders finds in George Orwell's book an authenticity and urgency that he misses in some books. 1984 is driven by the idealism of a man who wants to change the world with what he writes. Yeah, interesting. This is the man, this is the book, and that's it. This is a muffin still counting the mice, field mice. And thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.